From a really young age, all I watched was cooking shows. I have this vivid memory of standing on a stool next to my mom as she was deveining shrimp and she was making risotto from like a clipping out of the New York Times. So I remember helping her with that and thinking that was really cool. I kind of found my way to food in like a backwards path. Like, I have a lot of interests, but I didn't know out of college what I wanted to do. I thought long and hard about going to culinary school, and it was the right move. My name is Cecelia Jenkins, and I am a senior editor on Cook's Country magazine.
Cuban sandwich recipe was something that we've talked about for a while because we all love Cuban sandwiches. I mean, what's not to love, right? But for something that's sort of a sandwich, right, which sounds like maybe you don't really need like an extensive recipe for, we figured the way to get into it was to really go to the birthplace of the Cuban sandwich, to talk to the people that are really involved with the history of the Cuban sandwich and where it comes from. And so the first step was for Bryan to go with Steve Kleiss, who is our staff photographer, to Tampa. They were able to access, you know, all the greatest minds of Cuban sandwich making in the country.
So the thing that all of the Cuban sandwiches that we had in Tampa had in common was that all of the Cuban bread came from La Segunda Bakery. They turn out just like an absurd amount of Cuban bread every day. The bread is extremely flaky on the crust. Like we've gone to such lengths to like not have our loaves have a skin before we do anything with them, but like here they were almost trying to do it on purpose.
This is the authentic version of a Cuban sandwich with the ham, the roast pork, the cheese, the pickles, and the mustard on the top portion of bread only, so it doesn't overwhelm the palate when you bite into it, you know?
Okay.
What do we got next here?
Next, let's see. This is their Cuban.
Oh wow, that looks awesome.
What's missing?
Mustard.
Exactly.
Bing.
Exactly.
And
You're basically done
I'm
developing
ready.
a recipe.
I'm ready.
mustard and
Mustard and-
Oh, is there something else?
and-
Oh, salami.
Salami.
Of course.
People are very opinionated about their Cuban sandwiches,
Yeah.
and like they have hardcore rules about this is correct and this is incorrect.
So that was the Cuban sandwich experience. That was what we went through.
All right.
Great.
All right.
Helpful.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So initially, when we start talking about the recipes that we're going to do, we need some inspiration for them. You know, my trip is an inspiration, but we need to see something on paper. We need to kind of have a starting point. So what Cecelia does is she gathers all these recipes from different sources, and we kind of look through them and see which is the best. We're looking for like 5 strong samples of roasted pork, for example. And we hope that each of them is different in some way, that we could really test the variable.
Okay.
I'll start off with the Columbia Yellow Book. Let me see the Food and Wine Roast.
So at the end of that meeting, we have a good breakdown of what is out there in the world, what people are doing for methods, and what ingredients are important, what ingredients are outliers.
But 160, isn't that really low?
And we'll pick which recipes show a good range of what's out there.
Well, Cecelia is great because she never quits. And I knew this would be a very difficult recipe. But Cecelia is just a very strong recipe developer. She's always questioning what the next move is and what it should be. She's just very thorough in her testing, you know, and if she's not happy with something, she's not going to let me sign off on it. So she has to love the recipe as much as I do.
So our main focus will be on the 2 main components here, the bread and the mojo roast pork. The pitch meeting is the proposal at edit meeting, which can be scary because you're sitting in front of the entire editorial team at Cook's Country. So everyone from editors to photographers to art directors and stylists, like, it's scary because people will ask you questions that are really good questions and you should know the answer to. And I try to, when I do my proposals, I try to make sure that I've thought about every possible angle that somebody could spin this, or what questions are people gonna ask me about why we're doing this, or what makes this special, what makes this significant, what makes this good.
This is an extraordinary amount of work for a sandwich. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how we are going to sell the idea that it is worth it.
The bread seems like a high hurdle. I mean, you're gonna press this bread. I mean, like, really? Like, instead of buying a supermarket baguette that is similar enough?
We could use store-bought bread, but that's what everybody does. Literally every recipe that I pulled said, if you're in Tampa, buy Cuban bread. But for everyone else who's not in Tampa, just use this like soft squishy roll or a baguette, which is, I don't feel is right at all here. But a lot of recipes just gave substitutes. And why would we want to be like everyone else?
My idea for the recipe was that each component could stand alone. So the bread could stand alone as just a typical loaf of Cuban bread, and it would be great to eat on the side of whatever dinner you're having. And the roast pork would be equally great on a holiday table as it would be in the sandwiches, you know. So all the components would stand alone on their own.
Yeah, and Cecelia, you have a lot of work to do on this because you've got Tampa to make happy, you've got Bryan to make happy, and you've most importantly got our subscribers to make happy.
Yes.
So, good luck. I think the biggest concern I have is whether or not she will be able to create recipes for the bread and the pork and the sandwich, all of which can stand alone. That's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of moving pieces. And to be able to keep something like, you know, the auto leaves for your bread and the proof stages of your bread in your head, along with the marinating of the pork in your head, those are very different disciplines in the kitchen. And so she has to think with both sides of her brain all the time. And I think with that many balls in the air, of course it's likely you're gonna drop one.
You have to be very regimented and very organized about like what you're making. It's a lot of work to get this thing like off the ground.
You know what, I think let's try something that's just, like weird and crazy. I mean, I kind of feel like it's fun to eat lard.
We go big or go home. Just leave it. The whole kitchen smells like garlic right now. And it's so early too, so. I know it doesn't look good at all. Sorry. See, the problem is I'm already coming in at like 6 a.m.
I feel like these are all terrible.
Oh my God, I have so much work to do and I don't really know how to navigate my way out.